Yes, I know in the Bible there are 10 commandments, but let me just tell you, if you use these 8 commandments in your communication with your spouse, your entire life is going to change.
We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing sexy back.
Let's get it started. Harder, won't you give it up? What you embody.
Hello, beautiful lady. Yes, I am talking to you. It is Thursday, and you know what goes down here on my YouTube channel. Wife Life with Gail goes down here every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tonight I'm going to talk to you about the 8 commandments of communication. Yes, I know in the Bible there are 10 commandments, but let me just tell you, if you use these 8 commandments in your communication with your spouse, your entire life is going to change. Again, thank you so much for joining me here tonight on Wife Life with Gail. So let's get into these 8 commandments of communication. Communication commandment number 1: pause before you respond. Yes, pause before you respond. Because sometimes, especially when we're in intense fellowship, that's what I like to call an argument, right? We say things that hit below the belt. We say things that we really don't mean. We say things that we can never take back. So I say, add these 3 rules into your communication with your spouse. First thing is, do I have to say what I'm about to say right here and right now? The second thing is what I'm about to say right now, will I have to apologize for later? And the third thing is what I'm about to say what I want said right back to me? Sometimes that's a ouch because sometimes we're so angry that we hit below the belt and we say, I would never allow my spouse to say that to me. But we release those words and we can never take those back. So the first commandment is pause before you respond. The second commandment is be trustworthy and honest. And sometimes, especially when we're communicating with our spouse, we don't stick to the facts. We begin to embellish a little bit, we begin to expand the truth a little bit. But again, if they find that out, then anything that you say will be questioned in their mind. So make sure that you're trustworthy and honest when you're communicating with your spouse. Commandment number 3: don't rush through communication. Because sometimes when we're rushing through communication, things could be left out. These things can be miscombobulated. It could be misconstrued. It could not be conveyed correctly. So make sure that whenever you're communicating with your spouse, you have time. Commandment number 4 is stay in the moment. I know with TV and social media, our cell phones, our laptops, I mean, just distractions all around. Sometimes when we're communicating with our spouse, we begin to stray. Our mind begins to stray. We begin to look at the TV. We begin to pick up our phones and check social media. Whatever that is, you need to make sure that you stay in the moment. Commandment number 5: pay attention to nonverbal clues. This is huge. Pay attention to nonverbal clues, like if your spouse begins to cry, if they begin to stare off into space as if they're not understanding what you're trying to say, if they close their eyes, if they, you know, put up their arms and change their posture. All of these things are nonverbal clues that you might not be connecting with them with your words. So make sure that you are pay attention to nonverbal clues. Commandment number 6: intend to understand. This is huge. A lot of us communicate to get our point across. but we don't listen to understand. That is huge. Commandment number 6 is intend to understand. Intend to understand what they're trying to say, the point they're trying to make, and what resolution you guys can come to together. Commandment number 7, continue to stay open minded. Sometimes when we're communicating with our spouse, especially when we think that we're right, especially when we think that our way is the best way or the only way or the proven way, we still need to be open minded to their ideas, their thought process, the way they think that it should be done, and meet somewhere in the middle. And I know sometimes that can be hard, that could be challenging, that could be like, oh my God, this is just getting on my nerves. But you need to remain open mindedness because all the time you're not right. And commandment number 8, make sure that you follow up after the conversation. Follow up is the most important thing that you could do. Even if it's not that day, make sure that you follow up, even if it was not the best conversation, and even if the conversation got heated, make sure that you follow up with your spouse to make sure that you guys are okay. And let them know that I heard you, I understand you, and I want to figure out how we can work this out and make it better. Because you don't want things to fester. You don't want things that you think that they heard and processed not be the case. And so many times communication is broken because there's no follow up, especially when there's an argument or intense fellowship that has happened. So you want to go back and say, listen, I heard you when you said X, Y, and Z. And this is how I'm feeling about it. And I know this is your stance on it. And if it's wrong, that gives the person the opportunity to go back and correct it. Because again, when you're in a conversation, not all the time are you going to pick up on every single word and understand how that person was delivering it and the intent that it was delivering it. Okay. And so, again, my prayer is that you begin to implement these 8 commandments of communication and that you literally use these tips in every area of your life, not just in your marriage. Again, I thank you so much for joining me tonight here on Wife Life with Gail. I love you to pieces. Make sure that you're subscribing to my YouTube channel and make sure you're hitting that little bell that gives you the opportunity to see me live. Again, I will see you again next Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Have an amazing, amazing night.
We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing sexy back.
Let's get it started. Harder, won't you give it up? What you want by